The stars looked calm from above, but space was never peaceful. One moment, everything was fine. The next, alarms were screaming, and the ship shook like it had been hit by a giant hammer. Milo, a young engineer from Earth, tried to stay calm. He was alone on a small scout ship called the Sparrow Wing. It was supposed to be a simple mission: fly past a few planets, collect data, and return to the main station. Nothing dangerous, nothing unusual. But then something strange had happened. Near planet Varnock, a flash of light, a sudden pull of gravity, and his ship was spinning out of control. He remembered the crash only in pieces. Fire, sparks, pain, then darkness. Now, Milo opened his eyes slowly. He was lying in tall, soft grass. His ship was broken. Behind him, smoke rising from its engines. The sky above was purple with streaks of gold, and 3 moons floated in the air like silent watchers. He sat up and winced. His arm was bruised and his suit was torn, but he was alive. "Okay," he whispered, trying to stand. Still breathing, still human. The air was fresh, with a strange, sweet scent. Blue trees with silver leaves moved gently in the breeze, though there was no sound. No birds, no bugs, no voices, just quiet. He checked his communicator. No signal. Of course, Milo sighed. First contact with a beautiful alien planet and no one's listening. He picked up his survival pack and started walking toward a small hill. From there, he hoped to see more of the land and maybe find water or shelter. As he climbed, he couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, was watching. At the top of the hill, the view was strange and beautiful. Fields of glowing. Grass stretched for miles. Rivers of silver water shined under the 3 moons. In the distance, Milo could see something tall and dark, maybe ruins or buildings. He zoomed in with his helmet's lens. It looked like a temple. Not natural. Someone built that, he said. That meant he wasn't alone. As the sun began to set, the land turned a deep blue. Lights appeared in the trees, like fireflies, but bigger. Milo moved carefully. He didn't want to scare whatever lived here, and he didn't want to be attacked. He found a narrow path, almost hidden in the grass, and followed it toward the temple. That's when he heard it. A soft whisper. Not in his head, not through a speaker. Real. He turned. No one was there, but he wasn't alone. The path led to the edge of a large forest. The silver leaves above him glowed gently. The deeper he walked, the more he felt the eyes on him, not angry, not curious, just watching. He stopped. "I know you're there," he said calmly. "I'm not here to fight. I crashed. I'm looking for help." No reply. But a shadow moved in the trees. He kept walking. The temple ruins stood in a clearing. Tall stone towers, reached for the sky, covered in vines. The door was open, but not broken. It was like someone still came here. Inside, the walls were covered in carvings. Milo turned on his wrist light and looked closer. His breath caught. The carvings showed alien figures, tall, with sharp features and long limbs. But at the center of each picture was a human. A figure in a spacesuit. One hand raised. The aliens knelt before him. Milo stepped back. "That's impossible." He stared at one carving that showed a symbol from Earth's space program, something only humans would know. It was old, maybe 100 years old, maybe more. How could humans be here before? Then, from the shadows, a voice answered. "He has returned." Milo spun around. A figure stood at the edge of the temple, half hidden in shadow. It was tall, wearing a long robe made of woven crystals. Its skin glowed faintly in the dim light. Its eyes were not human, but they were calm. More figures stepped out behind it. Warriors, perhaps, but not threatening. Their armor shimmered like liquid glass. None of them spoke. The first figure stepped forward. You carry his blood, it said. You wear his face? I don't know what you mean, Milo said, confused but trying to stay brave. The figure tilted its head. You are of Earth, of the first flame. Milo's heart beat faster. Who is the first flame? The one who came before. The one who lit the stars in our darkest hour. The alien raised its hand slowly and pointed toward the temple wall. Milo followed the gesture and saw the largest carving of all. There, standing in front of a giant creature of shadow, was a human. His helmet cracked, his body wounded, but still standing. The alien figures knelt before him just like they had in the other carvings. Milo looked at the human's face. It looked exactly like him. A low sound filled the air. Not a threat, a song. The warriors began to sing in their language, deep and slow. The lead figure stepped aside and bowed its head. Then a new figure entered the clearing, a tall woman with golden markings on her skin, wearing armor shaped like wings. The others all knelt. She walked forward, tall and graceful. When she saw Milo, she stopped. Her eyes widened, and without a word, she knelt. Milo froze. He didn't understand what was happening, but something deep inside told him. This was just the beginning. Milo stood still. His heart was racing. The alien queen knelt before him, her head bowed low. Behind her, rows of silent warriors stayed on their knees. The only sound in the clearing was the soft hum of wind through the temple walls. He didn't know what to do. I'm no one important, he said, his voice quiet. I'm just an engineer. I crashed here. The queen lifted her head. Her eyes were bright like the moons above, calm but full of emotion. She studied his face like she was trying to find a memory buried deep in time. You are the image of him, she said. The first flame. Milo shook his head. I don't know that name. The queen rose slowly, and her armor caught the moonlight, shining like water. She stepped closer, not as a ruler, but as someone trying to understand. You are not him, she said, but you carry his light. Milo took a step back, unsure. Look, I just want to get home. If you can help me fix my ship, I'll leave. I don't mean to stay here or take anyone's place. The queen paused. You do not take anything. You return what was once given. Before Milo could ask what she meant, one of the warriors stepped forward and spoke in their language. The queen turned to him, nodded, and then faced Milo again. It is not safe here. Shadows have been watching you, she said. Milo frowned. I felt it too, something in the trees, following me. They are not ours, she said, her voice colder now. They do not kneel. They do not speak. They only wait. The queen led Milo through a quiet forest path. Her guards walked behind and beside him. Though they said nothing, their movements were smooth and alert, ready for anything. Milo looked around. The forest was glowing again, silver leaves, soft lights, and strange creatures that floated instead of walked. It was beautiful, but something didn't feel right. Who were those? Shadows? He asked softly. The queen answered without turning. We call them the Silence Ones. Long ago they served the Hollow. Now they wait for its return. Milo blinked. The Hollow? The queen stopped. She looked up at the sky. A darkness that eats stars. A hunger with no voice. The first flame helped us stop it, but it was not destroyed, only driven back. Milo felt a cold shiver run down his spine. And you think it's coming back? The queen looked at him. No, she said. I know it is. They arrived at a hidden village, built between trees so tall they disappeared into the clouds. The homes were made of soft stone and living crystal, shaped like flowers and shells. Lights floated through the air like gentle sparks. Children stopped to look at Milo. Some pointed. Some smiled. None were afraid. The guards led him into a round hall filled with quiet music. The walls had more carvings, some showing battle, others showing peace. In the center was a tall flame, burning without heat, glowing white and gold. The queen stood beside it. "This is the heart fire," she said. "It is the last gift the first flame gave us before he left." Milo looked into the flame. For a moment, he saw a shadow. No, a face. His own, but older, harder. Then it was gone. "Who was he?" Milo asked. The queen stepped closer to the fire. "He came from the stars. His ship was broken just like yours. He helped us learn. He stayed with us. And when the Hollow came, he fought beside us." "And he won?" Milo asked. The queen's voice was soft. "He gave everything. His body was lost, but his fire still burns." Milo sat down slowly on a smooth stone bench. It was too much to believe. But the carvings, the way they looked, at him, the strange memory in the flame, it all felt real. "I still don't know why I'm here," he said. "I'm not a soldier. I don't even like fighting. I fix things. I make machines work. That's it." The queen smiled gently. That is what he did, too. Later that night, Milo was given a place to rest in a small tree home. The walls were alive, warm to the touch, and shaped to fit him perfectly, even though he had never been here before. He couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the Silence Ones, about the carvings, about the face in the fire. He got up and looked out the window. The forest was quiet, but not empty. In the distance, he saw shapes moving between the trees, dark shapes that didn't glow, didn't speak, and didn't belong. Suddenly, his wrist. Device beeped, a signal, weak but there. Milo pressed it. "Ilo, read me?" "Station. Signal. Weak." It was the command station back in orbit. They were alive. They were looking for him. "Hello, this is Milo. I'm alive. I'm on the planet. Varnock. Can you hear me?" The signal crackled. "Planet. Not. Safe. Pull out. Threat." Then silence. Milo lowered his hand. The message was clear. Varnock was not safe. As the sun rose the next morning, the queen returned. She brought food and a long cloak made of soft silver thread. "You are being hunted," she said calmly. "I heard the signal," Milo replied. "They want to rescue me." The queen nodded. "If you leave now, they may find you in time. But the Silence Ones move quickly. They wait for weakness." Milo looked out over the forest. "What happens if I stay?" he asked. The queen placed a hand over her heart. "Then the fire may rise again." Suddenly, a loud sound echoed through the trees, like metal tearing. The queen turned. "They found you." Her guards moved quickly, surrounding her and Milo. One of them held out a blade shaped like light itself. "This is your choice, child of Earth," she said. "Run and forget, or stay and remember." Milo didn't answer yet, but deep inside, something old was waking up. Milo's breath quickened as the sound in the forest grew louder. It was a strange noise, part growl, part mechanical clank. The trees around the village seemed to shiver, as if the very ground beneath them was alive. The queen, Serahna, moved. Swiftly, her silver cloak flowing behind her like liquid moonlight. Her warriors formed a circle around Milo, their sharp eyes scanning the dark woods. "They are close," she said quietly. "The Silence Ones have found your trail." Milo clenched his fists. He was not a soldier, but the fear in his chest was real. Suddenly, a figure burst through the trees, a creature unlike anything Milo had seen. Its skin was pale and shiny, like metal and flesh mixed together. Its eyes glowed red, and it moved with terrifying speed. The warriors raised their weapons, blades of light and crystal, but the creature did not hesitate. It lunged forward. Milo acted without thinking. He grabbed a fallen branch and swung it at the creature's head. The creature dodged, but the movement distracted it enough for one of the warriors to strike. A beam of blue energy sliced through the air and hit the creature, which screamed and vanished into a cloud of dark smoke. The forest fell silent again. Milo's heart pounded. He looked at Serana. "You fight well for a human," she said, her eyes sharp. "I didn't have a choice," Milo admitted. "I'm not used to this." Serana smiled, a rare and gentle expression. "You carry the spirit of the first flame. You will learn." Later, Milo was led to a great hall inside the temple. It was carved from crystal and stone, glowing softly, with light from the walls themselves. The air smelled of ancient wood and fresh rain. The queen sat on a throne of living light. Around her, her court watched silently. Milo felt their eyes, heavy with curiosity and respect. Serana looked at Milo again. "You do not understand why you are here, but soon you will." She raised her hand, and the crystal walls shimmered, showing images of the past. Milo watched as the scenes unfolded. Long ago, Earth had sent explorers into the stars. One ship had crashed on Varnock, a ship much like his own. The captain of that ship, a man named Orin, had saved the Zalari from destruction. He had united their tribes, taught them to fight, and led them against the enemy known as the Hollow. Orin had become a legend. The queen turned to Milo. "You are his bloodline, his echo. You have returned when the stars called you back." Milo shook his head. "But I'm not him. I don't know if I can be." Serana stood and stepped down from her throne. Slowly, she knelt before him. Milo's eyes widened. He had never seen a queen kneel. She looked up at him with deep respect. "We honor you, child of Earth. You carry the flame that will light our path once more." Milo's throat tightened. He was just a simple engineer. But here, on this strange world, he was something more. The queen stood and extended her hand. "Will you walk with us, Milo? Will you learn what it means to be the first flame?" Milo hesitated, but then took her hand. Together, they walked through the halls of the temple, the court following silently behind. As they passed, Milo noticed warriors whispering and bowing, slightly, as if acknowledging his presence. He felt a new weight on his shoulders, a responsibility he never asked for but could not ignore. Outside, the sky was changing. The three moons aligned, casting a silver light over the land. Serana stopped and looked up. "This night marks the beginning of your journey." Milo nodded, swallowing his doubts. "I will do my best," he said simply. The queen smiled. "That is all we ask." Suddenly, a messenger arrived, breathless. "My queen, the Silence Ones gather beyond the forest edge. Their numbers grow." Serana's face hardened. "Then we prepare. The Hollow's return is closer than we thought." That night, Milo sat by the hearth fire again. He stared into the glowing flame, thinking of Orin and the legend he was supposed to live up to. His communicator beeped softly. A message blinked on the screen. It was from the command station orbiting Varnock. "Milo status report. We detect large enemy activity on the planet. Evacuation plans ready. Do you copy?" Milo typed quickly. "I'm with the Zalari. They say, 'I am the first flame. I will stay. I have to learn more.'" He paused before sending. The reply came almost immediately. "Understood. Be careful. Help is coming." The next morning, training began. Milo found himself surrounded by warriors. They taught him to move with the grace of the forest, to wield weapons made of light, and to read the stars like old maps. He was clumsy at first, but he tried hard. Serana watched him closely, sometimes nodding, sometimes frowning. "You have strength in your hands," she said. But strength is not enough. The first flame needed heart. Milo looked at her. How do I find that? The queen smiled. By understanding who you are. Not just your blood, but your choices. Days passed. The Silence Ones came closer. Milo learned to fight, to lead, and to listen. One night, as the moon shone bright, Milo stood on a hill with Sarahna. Do you believe you can stop the hollow? She asked. Milo looked at the sky. I don't know, he said honestly, but I want to try. Sarahna nodded. In time, the queen will kneel not only in respect but in hope. Milo smiled. Maybe, just maybe, he was ready. The morning sun rose gently over the silver trees of Varnock, casting long shadows across the village. Milo stood in the training ground, muscles sore but his spirit stronger. Today was not just another day of practice. It was the day of his first real test. Around him, Zalari warriors gathered, their faces calm but watchful. Sarahna, the queen, stood at the edge of the clearing, her eyes fixed on Milo. You carry the flame of your ancestor, she said softly. But now you must prove that you can protect it. Milo nodded. His hands gripped the wooden staff the warriors had given him. It was light but strong. Not like the machines he was used to fixing, but it felt right in his hands. The warriors formed a circle around him. Sarahna's voice echoed in the clearing. You will face the shadows of the forest. They are not like us. They do not feel pain. They do not show mercy, but they can be defeated by courage and heart. Milo took a deep breath. I'm ready. The gates of the training ground opened, and the shadows stepped forward. They were strange creatures, made of smoke and dark light. Their forms shifted constantly, never staying the same. Eyes glowed red in the darkness, but their faces were hidden. Milo's heart pounded. The creatures moved silently, circling him. He raised his staff and waited. Suddenly, the first shadow lunged. Milo swung his staff, catching the creature mid-air. The shadow burst into small sparks, but reformed moments later. Keep moving, shouted a warrior nearby. They can't be. Held forever! Milo dodged left, then right, remembering the queen's words. They do not feel pain. They do not show mercy, but they can be defeated by courage and heart. He focused, breathing deeply. He imagined the stars shining above, the fire glowing inside him. He was not alone. A shadow came at him again. This time, Milo didn't strike with anger. He waited. Then, as the shadow reached him, Milo stepped forward, placing his hand gently on the dark form. The shadow trembled. It paused. Then slowly, it began to change. The red eyes softened to blue. The smoke lifted, revealing a young Zalari warrior, trapped and twisted by the dark magic of the hollow. Milo stepped back, amazed. Sarahna smiled. You have the heart. After the test, Milo sat with the queen under the tall silver trees. Why can you reach them? She asked quietly. Milo thought for a moment. Because they are not enemies. They are lost. The queen nodded. Orin believed the same, that even the darkest shadows could find the light again. Milo looked at her. Then I have to find that light. Days passed quickly. Milo trained harder than ever. He learned the ancient songs that could heal wounds. He learned the dance of the warriors, a graceful and powerful movement that blended strength and peace. The villagers began to look at him differently, not just as a stranger, but as a leader. Even children came to watch him practice. One evening, Milo stood by the heart fire. The queen approached, her face serious. The hollow grows stronger. Its followers seek the heart fire. Milo looked at the glowing flame. What will happen if they take it? Sarahna's eyes darkened. Without it, our world will fall into endless night. Milo clenched his fists. I won't let that happen. The queen placed a hand on his shoulder. Good, but you will not fight alone. Suddenly, the ground trembled. From the forest, a low growl echoed. Milo turned, ready. A huge creature emerged, a beast made of twisted metal and shadow. Its eyes burned with cold fire. The warriors raised their weapons. The battle was about to begin. The forest trembled with every heavy step of the beast. It was larger than any Milo had ever seen, a terrible mix of living metal and shadow. Its glowing red eyes burned through the night, focused only on the glowing heart fire. Milo stood beside Sirahna, his heart pounding, but his mind clear. "Hold your ground," the queen commanded. "Protect the heart fire at all costs." The warriors raised their weapons, blades of light that shimmered in the dark. Milo gripped his wooden staff. Feeling the strength of the flame inside him, the beast let out a roar, shaking the trees around them. It charged. Milo stepped forward, swinging his staff toward the beast's leg. The staff hit metal, sending sparks flying, but the beast barely slowed. The warriors attacked, firing beams of light and striking with crystal blades. The beast growled, swiping at them with massive claws made of dark metal. One warrior fell, but others took his place without hesitation. Milo dodged a swipe, feeling the wind rush past his face. He remembered the queen's words, courage and heart. He focused on the heart fire's light inside him. The beast lowered its head and charged again. Milo jumped to the side and ran toward the beast's shadowy chest. He raised his staff high and brought it down with all his strength. The staff glowed as it touched the beast, sending a wave of bright light through its body. The beast shuddered and howled. Milo kept pushing, feeling the power of the first flame growing stronger within him. Suddenly, the beast roared and struck Milo with its heavy paw. He flew backward and hit the ground hard. Pain shot through his body. He looked up and saw the beast preparing for another attack. But Sirahna was there, throwing a beam of pure light that struck the beast's eyes. The beast roared in pain and stumbled. Milo struggled to his feet. "I won't let you take the heart fire!" he shouted. With new strength, he ran forward. The beast turned toward him, claws raised. Milo closed his eyes and remembered the flame inside. Then, with all his might, he struck the beast's chest again. A brilliant flash filled the clearing. When the light faded, the beast was gone. Silence returned. The warriors cheered softly, gathering around Milo and Sirahna. The queen stepped forward and placed a hand on Milo's shoulder. "You have proven your courage," she said. "The flame burns brighter because of you." Milo smiled, feeling pride he had never known. That night, the village celebrated. Milo sat beside the heart fire, feeling the warmth of the flame. Sirahna joined him. "The hollow shadow is not gone," she said quietly. "But your light is a beacon." Milo looked at her. "What happens next?" The queen's eyes shone with hope. "We prepare. We grow stronger. Together." Milo felt ready. He was no longer just an engineer lost on a strange planet. He was the first flame's heir, the light against the darkness, and he would not fail. The morning after the battle was calm, but the air was heavy with tension. The villagers worked quietly, repairing broken homes and tending to the wounded. Milo felt the weight of his new role pressing down on him. He was not just a visitor anymore. He was a leader. Sirahna approached him at the heart fire, her face serious but kind. "There is something you must know," she said. "The flame inside you and this fire here are connected. But the flame is more than light. It holds a secret, one that Orin never shared." Milo looked at the glowing fire, feeling its warmth. "What secret?" he asked. Sirahna led him deeper, into the temple. They walked past glowing walls covered with ancient symbols and stories. At the end of the hall was a door made of shining crystal. "This door has never been opened," she said. "Until now." She placed her hand on the door. It shimmered and slowly slid open. Inside was a small room filled with light. In the center stood a pedestal holding a crystal orb. The orb pulsed with a soft blue glow. "This is the heart of the flame," Serena said. "It holds the power to heal, to protect, and to create. But it is also a key." Milo stepped closer, mesmerized. "What does it open?" he asked. Serena's eyes darkened. "The way to the Hollow's prison. Long ago, Orin helped lock the Hollow away with this power. But the lock is weakening. If it breaks, the Hollow will return and destroy everything." Milo's heart raced. "How can we stop it?" he asked. "The heart of the flame must be taken to the prison's gate," Serena said. "Only then can it be reforged and the Hollow sealed once more." Milo nodded slowly. This was more than he expected. Over the next days, Milo trained harder than ever. Serena and her warriors taught him how to use the heart of the flame. It was not a weapon, but a source of life, one that responded to courage and truth. Milo learned to focus his thoughts, to calm his mind, and to listen to the flame's quiet voice. One evening, as the moons rose high, Milo sat by the heart fire, practicing the ancient songs that could awaken the flame's power. Suddenly, the flame flickered and changed color, shifting. From gold to deep blue, Milo's heart leapt. The flame was responding. Serena appeared beside him. "You have done well," she said. "The flame is awakening inside you." Milo smiled, feeling hope. "But," she added, "the journey ahead will be dangerous. The path to the prison is hidden deep in the shadowed mountains. Few have returned from there." Milo stood, determination in his eyes. "I will go," he said. "I will take the heart of the flame to the gate." Serena placed a hand on his shoulder. "You will not go alone." The next morning, Milo gathered a small group of warriors and villagers who were brave enough to travel with him. They carried supplies, weapons, and hope. As they left the village, the Heartfire's light followed them, bright against the darkening sky. Milo looked back once. The queen stood at the edge of the village, her silver cloak shining. "Return with the flame," she said softly. The journey through the shadowed mountains was harder than Milo imagined. The air was thin and cold, the paths narrow and steep. Strange creatures watched them from the shadows, silent, but always near. At night, Milo and the group camped under the stars, sharing stories and singing the ancient songs. The heart of the flame glowed softly in Milo's pack, a reminder of their mission. One evening, as they crossed a rocky ridge, a sudden storm struck. Lightning cracked the sky, and rain poured down like a waterfall. The group struggled to find shelter, slipping on the wet rocks. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed. The path behind them collapsed, cutting off their way back. Panic rose. Milo looked at the fearful faces around him. "We have no choice but forward," he said firmly. "The flame needs us." The group nodded, trusting his courage. Together, they pressed on into the storm. Days later, they reached a dark cave, the entrance to the Hollow's prison. The air was thick and heavy, the walls covered in glowing runes. Milo felt the flame inside him burn brighter. "This is it," Serena had said before they left. "The final test." Milo took the heart of the flame from his pack. With steady hands, he placed the crystal orb into a carved socket in the cave wall. The runes lit up, and the cave shook. A low rumble echoed through the mountains. Suddenly, from the shadows, the Silence Ones appeared, more than ever before. They moved like a wave, blocking the path. Milo stood firm, holding the heart of the flame high. "Go back," he shouted. "You will not stop the light!" The Silence Ones hesitated, then charged. Milo called upon the flame's power, sending a wave of warm light that pushed them back. The warriors fought fiercely alongside him. The battle was long and hard. Many were tired, but Milo did not give up. With every song he sang, the flame grew stronger. With every strike, the shadows weakened. At last, The Silence Ones retreated into the darkness. The cave was still. Milo looked at the heart of the flame glowing in the wall. The runes shimmered and formed a seal, a lock stronger than before. The Hollow's prison was reforged. Milo felt a deep peace. He had done it. When Milo returned to the village, the people greeted him with cheers and songs. Sarahana knelt before him once more, honor and pride shining in her eyes. "You have saved us all," she said. Milo smiled, but he knew this was only the beginning. The flame would always need protecting, and he was ready. The village of Varnock glowed under the light of the 3 moons. Milo stood at the center, surrounded by the people he had come to call friends and family. The air was filled with music, laughter, and hope, a sharp contrast to the fear and darkness that had once haunted this place. Sarahana, the queen, stood beside him. Her silver cloak shimmered in the moonlight. Her eyes were full of pride and gratitude. "You have done what no other could," she said softly. "You have brought the flame back to life." Milo smiled, but inside he felt a calm deeper than pride. This was not just about power or victory. It was about unity. Days after the battle, Milo walked through the village, watching the Zalari rebuild their homes and lives. Children played, warriors trained, and elders told stories of old. He remembered how scared he had been when he first arrived, lost, unsure, and alone. But now, he felt strong. Not because of any weapon or skill, but because of the bonds he had formed. A young girl ran up to him, holding a small crystal that glowed softly. "This is for you," she said shyly. Milo took the crystal, its warmth spreading through his fingers. "Thank you," he said. "It's beautiful." The girl smiled and ran back to her friends. That evening, Milo and Sarahana sat by the hearth fire. "The flame you carry is more than light," the queen said. "It is a symbol of hope, courage, and unity. It connects us all, humans and Zalari, alike." Milo nodded. "I understand now. This is why you knelt before me." Sarahana smiled gently. "Because you carry the spirit of both worlds, you remind us that we are stronger together." News soon arrived from the stars. The command station orbiting Varnock sent messages of support and friendship. Other human ships were preparing to visit, to learn from the Zalari and to share knowledge. Milo's heart swelled with hope. Earth was no longer a distant memory. It was a partner in the future of this world. But peace did not come without challenges. Some Zalari questioned the humans. Others feared change. Milo understood their worries. He had faced doubt himself. One evening he stood before a crowd in the village square. "I know many of you fear what is new," he said. "But I have seen both worlds. I have walked between them. We are not enemies. We are one family." The crowd was silent for a moment. Then, slowly, hands began to rise in agreement. Milo's journey had taught him many things. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to move forward despite it. True strength lies in compassion and understanding. As the weeks passed, Milo trained new warriors, sharing his knowledge and the power of the flame. He and Sarahana worked together to build a future where humans and Zalari could live in peace and harmony. One night, Milo stood on a hill looking up at the stars. The 3 moons shone bright above, and somewhere beyond them, Earth waited. He smiled, thinking of the Queen's words. "You carry the flame that will light our path once more." He felt the flame burning steady inside him, a light that would never go out. Milo turned and walked back toward the village. The road ahead was long, but he was not alone. Together they would face whatever came next. Because the flame was not just his. It belonged to all who believed in hope, courage, and the strength of unity.